Welcome back. With me right now is the board president of Third Mutual, Rosemarie DiLorenzo. And Rosemarie, it's a busy time of the year right now, of course, into the budget season, and also, believe it or not, elections are just around the corner, right?
They certainly are, and we basically have worked on restructuring our communications committee, and they're very involved with Eileen Paulin, who is the director of our communications department, and we're putting our plans together to get people excited and interested in running for the board.
Let me ask you about an event that's coming up, an election event, and this is Thursday the 27th in the afternoon. I believe it's at 4 p.m. And I know you're doing this. I know a few other people are doing this. You know, each board is doing this. Tell us what this is about and what's the purpose of this.
You know, we were really lucky last year to work with Eileen on trying to, working on getting candidates for the board. So this year they suggested that we have we can't call it a meet and eat because we're not really eating except for hors d'oeuvres. I call it an election event. We're having a meeting or a function in the boardroom at 4 p.m. on Thursday, the 27th. And we're going to basically ask people to come if they're interested in running for the board, if they would like to find out some information about being on the board. We also invited our CEO and our COO to attend, and of course Eileen will be there. We're going to invite a few past board members who were our superstars and who might be able to talk about what it was like to be on the board.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that we want to do is we want to either get people to run for the board or talk about people who they think might be good board candidates. But we want people to understand that you don't have to be an engineer. It's wonderful if you were a teacher. You could be any number of, we just added a board member who's doing an outstanding job, and she's a nurse. Of course, we all feel like half of the time we need a nurse, but that's neither here nor there. So, your background is good and it's important, but sometimes your background, you don't have to be a board member. You could be an advisor to a committee.
Right.
But being on the board is just your desire to make a difference, I believe. The biggest challenge that we have is people think, oh God, I'm going to be on the board, I'm going to be working 60 hours a week or whatever.
Right.
And it isn't. There's certain times of the year that it's busier than others. These few weeks are busy. But, people go on vacation, people have a life. You're allowed to miss meetings, because you have family responsibilities. You want to go on away, So, and we really are try to limit the number of meetings. The only monthly meetings we have are finance, because we believe finance is so important to the community, but also we have the board meeting and we have an agenda prep meeting. Otherwise, all of our meetings are every other month, sometimes once a quarter, just to keep us on target.
Right.
But so we want to talk to the people about that, and just if people have questions, we're going to make sure that's part of it. And so I hope it'll be, I know, it'll be a good event.
Yeah, and we'll remind people when we get close to that, but again, it's the 27th, Thursday at 4 p.m. in the boardroom?
Yes.
It's going to be? Okay. So if you're interested in running for third, finding out about it, whatever the case may be, put this on your calendar because it'll give you a good opportunity to get an overview, ask questions, and see if it's right for you.
And we are going to serve some light hors d'oeuvres. And somebody, of course, was joking and said, do I have to put a lid on my cup? You know how we have that rule with coffee? And they said, because I think they're serving wine and water. And we said, no, we won't have to put a lid on for those.
All right. Well, today GRF has a couple important meetings. They're doing the one on fees and things, and also on capital costs. Again, we're looking at the budget for 2020.
Yeah, we had a meeting, we had a number of meetings with our new CEO, Jeff Parker, and we expressed our concern about the fact that in the housing mutuals, we have so much to do, and in some ways we feel like we give too much of a contribution to GRF. And we would like GRF to review what they're charging. because on some things, the residents, those are all the residents, pay for 85% of the costs of doing something. And so there's a lot going back and forth with shared costs and whatever, but 85% to me isn't shared. You know, that's way beyond shared. So we brought that concern to Jeff when he was first started, and he said he already looked at that. And notice that, and unless we make changes, which we're very happy that that's the approach that he wants to take, very financially sound approach, we're never basically going to get out of where we are, you know, and not that we want to make architectural changes and make the clubhouses look like palaces, but we have to do things. We have to do some more things with landscape. We are doing a lot of things with plumbing and third. And we know that, you know, the assessments increase a little bit, but we don't want to just go crazy. So we feel that GRF has a responsibility for this too. So that is what the approach that he's taking, which we're very excited about. We said we'll see, but and so that's what they're going to talk about on Monday morning. So the board members are all going because we're excited. We hope residents come in. They're going to be talking about fees. Yes. In the afternoon at 1 o'clock, they're going to be talking about the capital things that they would like. And I know last year there was a big to-do because people were asking for money, for a lot of money for the Performing Arts Center. That's right. And we're sitting there going, what is the return on investment? You know, so I'm sure there are going to be a lot of things that are going to be coming up. It'll be a lively day. Okay. All right. But good meetings to go to. Right. And, you know, along with that, as I get into July, you have more of the budget review meetings. Of course, in August, it's sort of getting to the very end of where you do final presentations of them. We on third met. We had our pre-budget meeting and another pre-budget meeting because we wanted to, and we had a strategic planning meeting for the board. We wanted to list all of the things that we thought were important. We gave them to the department heads and had them come back to us with that they think is important, and then what could we afford to do. So we've reviewed that the first time, and Jeff was there also. So now they've given us their notes back, so we're going to review them again. And I think we have, and the exact dates will be coming out. I think it's something like July 2nd, 3rd, we'll be reviewing them again. These are all open meetings, and so people are invited so they could find out, you know, what we're planning on doing. So the board together has worked very hard on this. All right, yeah, important meetings. And also another important meeting, although it's not for a few months from now, pretty soon you start to prep for this, and this is the end of the year meeting. It happens in October. But 3rd. Still, this is the time in a month or so you start kind of bringing things together. And we have to talk about, and it's done every year. Last year they did a wonderful job putting it together. And we don't want to put pressure on staff to be doing this, you know, at the last minute. But like we've already come up with some of the things, you know, hopefully our lighting will be more settled by then for our street lighting projects. But, you know, we made the change, Third made the change with Roundup. You know, we were doing a lot of Shepherd's Crook. We're doing a lot of fencing repairs. So what we do is we make a list, and we ask all the board members to send information on this list. And then Eileen's staff goes out and takes pictures, you know, so that we have a good presentation for the residents. So this gives them a little bit more time, staff, to put this together. I already have my list started. I carry it around. Now, a couple things. Street lights, that's been ongoing for quite a while. There's been a couple, 2 or 3 up, different styles. And you're going to put some more up for part of the Extend the Pilot program? Yeah, the thing is that when, and our new CEO wasn't here when we had put all this together, and we feel that the pilot has to do a bit more. So they went back to the people who we're working with, and they're going to have, I think, 3 more pilots because they wanted it in like a cul-de-sac and whatever. You know, they were always going to have situations because when it was constructed here, the lights are all on one side of the street. So for us to get all the lighting we want will probably mean that next year or the year after, we might be wanting to put up additional light posts in certain areas. So new pilots, I think there are 3 new pilots are being worked on. And as soon as we get the dates and the locations, I know that Eileen will do a good job of promoting this so that the residents know, because we asked for their input, and we had some really wonderful input on the last one, which is why we're going to the next one.
All right, very good. And we'll, once we get that information, we'll talk about that.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, finally, you have a new treasurer on your board, and it's not a new member,
no,
but it's somebody who's taken over the treasurer duties, and of course that's John is doing that, and because Jack, who's still on the board, is not going to be the treasurer. Yeah,
Jack isn't feeling well, and he's such a wonderful person.
He is,
but
really nice.
He said he wants to stay on the board, but he wants to, so we had an election, and John won hands down. I mean, he was dying to do it. He's, you know, so we said, okay. And he ran his first finance meeting the other day, and he did, and this is a new experience to him, the way we budget, so he's very into it. And I know that he will be a continuing great part of the board, because he'll be able to grab this, and the new president next year will have somebody who rely on.
Right.
Notice I say new president.
Right.
Because my term ends in October 3rd, and I can't run again because I've been on for 2 terms, and I have loved every minute of it. And I know that when people, and we hope people run for the board, because when you do, it is such a rewarding experience. It really is. Yeah,
definitely. I hear that all the time. Anything else you'd like to add for tonight?
No, we talked about, just about everything. Just please remember the election and how important participating is to the community. And if you don't want to run on the board, run for the board or be on the board. Maybe you know someone who would be a great candidate.
Right.
That's how we found Roy, because somebody knew him and they recommended him. So that's how it happens a lot. But if you know anybody, we're going to ask you, you know, let us know. And and if you ever hear that it's 60 hours a week or like a job, that's not true.
All right.
It's maybe 40. No, I'm kidding. No, it's not. Some weeks are busy, but some are okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
for coming
much.
on. You take care, and we'll be right back.